Namaskar everybody, welcome again. Today we will take you to another very important institution for Bharatanatyam called Kalakshetra in Madras, or as we call it, Chennai today. You all have heard of this institution. Kalakshetra came out of the vision of one practitioner of dance and music whom we call respectfully Attai. Her name Rukmini Devi Arundale from 1904 to 1986. Her Arangetram or debut performance took place on December 30th, 1935, and this led to a creation of a unique group of art lovers who were then created a community in 1936 called Kalakshetra. It had been conceived as an integrated community. It was like a family, all living ideally in a residential village type of atmosphere with thatch roof cottages, classrooms and a simple rehearsal hall and simple eating place and an administrative block were all cheek by jowl together in one complex of beautiful area next to the Madras beach. So they had clear air, clear vision and lot of art activity took shape. They had Western orientation because they came out of Theosophical Society, so there was discipline of the West, but the aesthetics and the ideas were Indian and very traditional. Old-timers often recall the good old days of Kalakshetra. At the annual convention of the Theosophical Society in 1940, its president George Arundale declared, "Today it is a humble cottage, this Kalakshetra, but in due course we shall have buildings, beautiful, simple structures created by our own hands, the temple to India's glory. It is a cottage today, it will be a community tomorrow." Rukmini married George Arundale, and it was meeting of East and West at its best. Kalakshetra was at Adyar, and both were interlinked. For the 13 years, the institution was in Theosophical Society's land at Adyar, but in 1948, Kalakshetra received an eviction notice from the Theosophical Society. This was a shock, to say the least. The reason ascribed in the notice was that the dance and music activities were alien to the tenets of Theosophical Society, and thus they could not host the institution. Why then did the Theosophical Society so unceremoniously and suddenly evict Kalakshetra? After George Arundale died in August 1945, C. Jinaradasa became the elected president of the society. He and his confreres soon started having second thoughts about Kalakshetra. The feeling was born and nursed that its pursuits were not consistent with the objectives of the society. The showdown came towards 1949 when Kalakshetra was directed to quit the Adyar campus in the middle of 1953. It would seem Rukmini Devi, as early as 1945, had some lurking feelings on premonition of contemporaries. For in that year, fearing that in coming years Kalakshetra may expand and the Theosophical Society may not be able to provide additional space, she started buying pockets of lands nearby. The place chosen was a neighboring village called Tiruvanmiyur, Tiruvalmiki-ur, land of sage Valmiki who wrote the Ramayana. Land was cheap, around rupees 300 per acre. This was almost 70 years ago. And today, each acre would be at least 30 crores. And over the years, a great deal came to be acquired, though only in patches when available. The institution we all see today and have in last 75-80 years stands on part of that patch. In 1952 came another surprise turn. C. Jinarajadasa's term finished, and in his place came to be elected N. Sri Ram, a brother of Rukmini Devi, who wished Kalakshetra return to its original setting and moorings in Adyar and agreed to extend lease for 15 years, but Rukmini Devi rightly refused. Such was the strength and suffering of this great woman whom many worship even today. Set up as International Academy of Arts, it was later in 1939 rechristened Kalakshetra Temple of Arts. In June 1940, Kalakshetra was registered as a society. In the beginning, classes were held only in Bharatanatyam and vocal music, the fee being rupees 15 and rupees 10 per month, respectively. Only two girls joined for dance, and both were from families in society estate. Lessons began under a tree. The first two teachers were both giants in the field, Kattumanar Koil Muthukumaran Pillai for Bharatanatyam and Papanasam Sivam for music. Muthukumaran Pillai in fact brought his star student M.K. Saroja, then a child of 9, to show Rukmini Devi what his teaching and training standards were. Seeing the star child dancer, Rukmini immediately engaged him and appointed him as first dance teacher of Kalakshetra. Kalakshetra was set up as the International Academy of Arts, and it was in 1939 that it was rechristened or recalled to be named Kalakshetra, the Temple of Arts. In June 1940, Kalakshetra was registered as a society and gurus started coming in. The first one was Meenakshi Sundaram Pillai and Muthukumaran Pillai, who taught there for few years, and then other gurus like Elappa Pillai, Kittappa Pillai and many more over the years kept coming. So when we talk of a style or Bani, it is not one guru's Bani. It is not Pandanallur's Meenakshi Sundaram Pillai. It is not Kattumanar Koil's Chidambaram. It is not Bani of Kittappa or Tanjore. It is a collection of many gurus, and thus this style evolved on its own. It was a plethora of personal individuals who came and created institutions, famous Natunars and dancers and musicians who called it Kalakshetra. Among them were Meenakshi Sundaram Pillai, Rukmini Devi's first teacher, Muthukumaran Pillai and Chokalingam Pillai. Karaikal Saradambal Ammal, known for a Nritta, polished the technique of the early students. Dandadapani Pillai later joined the staff, as did Mylapur Ammal. These early teachers bequeathed many compositions and stylistics inputs to the institute which remain embedded in the Kalakshetra style today. Ambu Panikkar, the great Kathakali guru, who spent the last 6 years of his life in Kalakshetra, taught Rukmini Devi several Kathakali movements and set pieces that were used to great effect in her dance dramas. After his death, another doyen, Chandu Panikkar, came to the college, bringing along with him young boys Dhananjayan and Balagopalan, and later his own son Janardhan. These three, along with the older Kunni Raman, Ambu Panikkar's son, became the early male dancers of the institute, participating in the new dramas that Rukmini Devi choreographed. They became known for their heroic roles in Kalakshetra's dance dramas. My father would beat me to pulp if I did not practice properly. One day, while he was doing so, Attai, as we fondly call Rukmini Devi, drove past in her white Fiat and stopped to admonish my father. She said, "If you ever beat that child again, you can take him home," recalls Janardhanan. Many gurus who became popular outside of Kalakshetra like Dandadapani Pillai, Guru to Jayalakshmi Alva in Mangalore and Vijayanti Malabali, Valru Ramaya Pillai and Nataraj Shakuntala, was also due to the work in films, which assured that they could continue to survive and thrive. Films gave them regular exposure and the students multiplied, and some went to films like Kamala, Vajayanti Mala and E.V. Saroja. Right away, one by one, some of the resident theosophists, all from abroad, wanted and volunteered to contribute their mite and pet projects. So while Annie Besant wished to start a school for children which maintained later in George Arundale's time as president, the Besant Memorial School, others started Veena, Mridangam, painting and Kathakali classes. Not satisfied with the designs in textiles available then, for costume, a weaving unit was started. As traditional Kalamkari textile traditions were dying in Machilipatnam and Kalahasti regions, now in Andhra, Telangana, then part of Madras Presidency, these were brought and revived at Kalakshetra. Kalakshetra's delinking with the Theosophical Society also meant a certain loss in funds, because it was like suddenly asking a teenage child to manage on its own, literally disowned. Rukmini Devi's genius lay in taking up the challenge in making an institution that has stood the test of time despite ups and downs. To have survived, Rukmini realized teaching was the mainstay and tours. In that, she created a course to the students that fed the ballet. Generally, a dance drama production needs a group of well-trained dancers where to get these from, especially when no real fee can be paid. Kalakshetra is a unique model that has worked without monies for many years. Imagine until 2 decades ago, its faculty was still taking monthly salary in hundreds, not in thousands. Average salaries of teachers and staff was rupees 400 only until its 50th anniversary. Kalakshetra was so piously unprofessional where money matters were concerned that it returned a Ford Foundation grant of rupees 25 lakhs unutilized, saying they did not know how to spend the monies because they had never seen so much. This is not some ancient history, but in late 1980s, Kalakshetra's creed was to do with art, not business of art, as it has now become common with dance institutions, especially in Bombay, Delhi, and also Madras, as elsewhere. In South India's East Coast, Kalakshetra became the pivot for dance and music arts. On West Coast, Kalamandalam had been set up by Mahakavi Vallatol Narayan Menon in Chiruturti near Shoranur, which continued training dancers in Kadakali and Mohiniyattam. Many students of Kalakshetra were also from Kerala, and some teachers were brought in to teach Kadakali. Both Bharatanatyam and Kadakali were used in its productions. Rukmini Devi Amma's first love was music. To her, dance simply gave a visual shape to the music. She was, in a sense, a pioneer in the field because she was the first dancer to invite not one but several great musicians to institution Kalakshetra. They not only came but contributed selflessly and very substantially to her work, as much due to the special respect she had for them, as much for the wonderful atmosphere that she had created for art and about her in this new kind of ashram for India's arts. So, Carnatic music also remains a pillar of the institution with famous names you've heard, I'm sure, like Tiger Varadacharya, Mysore Varadacharya, Karekudi, Veena Sambhavis Iyer, Papanasam Sivan. All of them were very leading musicians of the time, and when required, they were worked without any fee or money. Rukmini Devi's generosity was such, she always compensated the artists. Kalakshetra benefited immensely with fine inputs of so many musicians who helped to compose specially for dance. So because they were musicians on campus, she could create huge productions popularly called dance dramas. Kalakshetra dance dramas have become world famous, and these productions are being performed in each generation by a new group of dancers. But the music set by these musicians has still continued over decades and almost half a century now. Nearly the who's who of Carnatic music field was associated with this institution, making it one of the most important institutions not only for dance but also for music. Tiger Varadacharya became principal of Kalakshetra in 1944 when the Sangeeta Shiromani course was begun in the institute. Madurai Subramani Iyer, the violin Vidwan, Tiger's brother Veena Krishnamacharya and T.K. Ramaswamy Iyengar all taught the Sangeeta Shiromani course. Eminent musicians such as Veena Sambhav Siva Iyer, Bodalur Krishnamurti Shastrigal and Master of Gotuvadyam and M.D. Ramanathan, who had been Tiger's student at the institute, all served as principals in successive years. Thiruvayyaru Rajgopala Sharma was a professor. In the early days, the staff of Kalakshetra was motivated by great spirit of service and worked tirelessly to bring the vision of Kalakshetra to life. Among them was Sankara Menon, who was a principal of Basin's Theosophical High School. He helped Rukmini Devi in every aspect of administering the institute and later succeeded her as director. Kalakshetra became the first dance institute to establish a meaningful theoretical syllabus for dancers. Kamala Rani, also one of her early students, established herself as a brilliant Natuvnar, breaking barriers for women in field. As Sarada, Periya Sarada, researched the text for Rukmini Devi's dance dramas, sang for classes and performances, and took detailed notations of Rukmini Devi's choreography. D. Padmasani joined Kalakshetra as a music teacher at Basin Theosophical High School, BTHS. Kalakshetra's reputation rests on its dance dramas, meticulously crafted ensemble pieces choreographed by Rukmini Devi. The music for the dance drama in the living legacy of the musicians who came to the institute. Rukmini Devi was inspired by the music composed for each of her dance dramas by musicians of the highest caliber. They included Tiger Varadacharya, Papanasam Sivan, M.D. Ramanathan, Mysore Vasudevacharya, Thuriya Rajgopal Sarma, S. Rajaram, Bhagavatulu Sitaram Sarma, Pasupati and others. With such great musicians and dance inputs, and as the daughter of great Sanskrit scholar, it was only natural that Rukmini Devi focused on revival of Kuruvanjis, temple dance dramas. And when Kutrala Kuruvanji was first produced by her in 1944, audiences were amazed. Krishnamacharya, brother of Tiger Varadacharya, provided the necessary Varnametus, song patterns, and Rukmini herself devised the dance patterns. Bhishma was amongst the first, followed by Kalidasa's Kumara Sambhava in 1947, for which Tiger Varadacharya composed the music. Rukmini Devi produced Kanappar Kuruvanji in 1962 and Krishnamari Kuruvanji in 1971. Papanasam Sivam scored music for Andal Charitram, Geeta Govindam, Abhigana Shakuntalam, Kanappar Kuruvanji and others. Mysore Vasudevacharya came to Kalakshetra in 1953 with his grandson Rajaram. He composed the music for the 6-part Valmiki Ramayana until his death, after which Rajaram took over. For Rukmini Devi, these musicians provided the backbone on which she built her productions. Kalidasa Neelakanta Iyer, an expert on Thala, helped to set the Tirmanams correctly in the older dance pieces. The 6-part Ramayana dance series are Sita Swayamvaram in 1955, Sri Rama Vanagamanam in 1960, Paduka Pattabhishekam 1960, Sabari Moksham 1965, Chudamani Pradhanam 1968, Mahapattabhishekam 1969. I was able to complete the Ramayana series in 1969 with the Mahapattabhishekam, which strangely enough is exactly 14 years after I launched on this venture. In the Ramayana, Rama returns after 14 years in exile to his kingdom of Ayodhya. This is strange coincidence, said Rukmini Devi. Though I have taken 14 years to complete the Ramayana series, during this period I have produced the dance dramas Geeta Govindam, Andal Charitram, Shyama of Tagore's, Kandappa Kuruvanji, Rukmini Kalyanam, Usha Parinayam, and Shakuntalam. Great composers like Tiger Varadachari, Veena Krishnamachari, and Papanasam Sivan have composed the music of some of these, she said. Rukmini Devi also produced and choreographed Bhagavat Mela Nat dances, Kuruvanjis, Buddha Avataram, Matsya Kurma Avataram, Damayanti Swayamvaram, and Kuchila Paikakyan. In all 25 major dance dramas, some as varied as Last One Meera of Mewar in 1984 and one based on martial arts, Meenakshi Vijayam 1977, were made. These are full-length productions with many sets and characters and costumes. Rukmini Devi had long nurtured a dream to build an auditorium for dance and music which would be aesthetic, Indian in spirit, and that would provide an ideal setting for her choreographic work. Her dream was realized when the Kalakshetra auditorium, built in Kotambalam style from Kerala, was inaugurated in 1985. Rukmini Devi died in 1986. After her, K. Sankara Menon became the director. In 1993, Kalakshetra was taken over by the government in the hope that its groundbreaking work in the revival of arts in India would continue. The Indian government deemed it an institute of national importance by an act of parliament and has since given the college its support. After Shankar Menon's death, S. Rajaram took over as director. Leela Sampson headed the institute from 2005. In July 2013, Priyadarshini Govind was appointed new director of the institute. Rukmini Devi personally trained in early students who then took responsibility of teaching new students. She held a special morning class where she taught ballet exercises. She refined and classified the adubus, the basic steps of the dance, making them efficient and beautiful, and systematized the teaching methodology for the dance form she inherited. Over 75 years of its existence, Kalakshetra has trained several thousands, if not lakhs of students in all these 7.5 decades. It is dubbed the Bolshoi of Bharatanatyam. Bolshoi is the best school in former Russia, Soviet Union, today still continuing to train artists in Western ballet. So what the standards and structure and discipline of Bolshoi is or was, in India we take for Bharatanatyam, Kalakshetra to be similar. It has trained many dancers with equal quality and quality control. In a way, both music and dance. The discipline of Kalakshetra has helped many dancers take their careers forward. Many famous gurus, many famous artists have been associated with this institution. The place today is a deemed university, and many important people of society, including former presidents or chief election commissioner or governors, have become its chairman over the years to take this movement of art forward. Many of its alumni teach abroad, internationally. Many also run their own dance classes in India and worldwide. In fact, there is a saying, wherever you go in Bharatanatyam, you will surely find a student or a teacher or a friend of this institution called Kalakshetra. In addition to the choreography of Rukmini Devi, Kalakshetra also performs major works of Sarda Huffman, Krishnaveni Lakshmanan, C.K. Balagopal, A. Janardhan and Leela Sampson, who are the alumni of the institute. The most recent addition to the dance dramas of the company is Dasaru Kanda Krishna, choreographed in 2006 by Leela Sampson with music by S. Rajaram, the former director of Kalakshetra. Old and present students and faculty of the institute such as Jyotsna Menon, Nirmala Nagaraj, Hari Padman, Shijit Krishna and Shijit Nambia have also choreographed pieces that are included in performances. Shijit Krishna and his vocalist wife Jyotish Mati and Shijit Nambia with his wife Parvati Menon are now independent performers and teachers. Here is a brief summary of many distinguished personalities associated with Kalakshetra. From age 14, Sarda Huffman, Chinna Sarda stayed on Kalakshetra to assist Rukmini Devi Arundale. All through Rukmini Devi's lifetime, it was Sarda who took instructions from her, absorbed everything and then taught the students as Rukmini Devi would have wanted to. Shanta Dhananjayan joined Kalakshetra when she was 8 years old. She was the prima donna of Kalakshetra for almost 15 years, taking major roles in Rukmini Devi's dance drama productions. She became synonymous with Radha and Geet Govindam and Sita and Ramayana series. She married Dhananjayan, another Kalakshetra student, and they became a much sought after dance couple. Dhananjayan became synonymous with the character of Sri Rama in the Ramayana series. They started their own dance school, Bharat Kalanjali, in 1968 in Chennai. Krishnaveni Lakshmanan was known for shining in the roles of Andal and Sita. She was with Kalakshetra till she retired as principal in 98-2000. Adyar K. Lakshmanan was one of the Rukmini Devi's earliest students. He joined Kalakshetra in 1944 at the age of 11 to learn music, but ended up learning dance. He was a successful guru, and many students from his dance school, Bharata Chudamani, are carrying on his legacy worldwide. C.V. Chandrasekhar joined Kalakshetra in 1945 and stayed there for 9 years. He left in 54. It is only after that that Rukmini Devi choreographed the Ramayana series. Interestingly, all his teachers' names were Sarda, meaning knowledge. Karaikal Sarda Ambalamma, Sarda Hoffman as S. Sarda. He and his wife Jaya run Nityashri in Chennai. A multifaceted personality, he continues to perform even as he is over 80. A. Janardhanan performed major roles as Rama in Ramayana, Buddha in Buddha, Avataram Bhima in Damayanti Swayamvaram, King Naraja and Naranan in Kanappa Kuruvanji, Mahabali in Kurma Avataram, Vajrasena and Uttaya in Tagore's play Shama, the Brahmin Ajamila in Ajamilopakyanam, and most of the male roles in Kathakali dramas. He has choreographed two major dance dramas for Kalakshetra called Karna Saptam in Malayalam and Sri Purandara in Kannada. He served as principal of Kalakshetra and is currently reviving Rukmini Devi's dance dramas with the present students and faculty of Kalakshetra. C.K. Balagopalan is identified for his signature portrayals of Hanuman. His Lakshmana in early years to Dhananjayan's Rama and his Bharata to Janardhanan's Rama are famous. K.P. Kunni Raman spent 30 years becoming one of its most celebrated and revered dancers with unforgettable performances in the Ramayana series and other dance drama programs. He excelled in the roles of Ravana, Vidya-mitra, Dasaratha and Valli. He married Catherine, who studied Bharatanatyam and Kathakali at Kalakshetra. They started their own school in Berkeley, California. N.B. Narasari and Kalakshetra between 62 to 67, training in vocal music and mridangam. N.S. Jayalakshmi instilled in him the unique Kalakshetra style of dancing, while Pushpa Shankar introduced him to Natuvangam. He and his wife Vasanta Lakshmi run Kala Samarpana Foundation in Chennai. Other famous Kalakshetra dance students include Mohan Kokar, N.S. Jayalakshmi, Savitri Jagannatha Rao, Ambika Buj, Radha Baniye, Pushpa Shankar, Vasanta Vedam, Kala Ramesh, Neela Satyalingam, Indra P.P. Bora, M.R. Krishnamurthy, Sanjukta Panigrahi, Jayashri Narayanan, Yamini Krishnamurthy, Kamala Rajagopal, Jaya Tyagarajan, Anand Shankar, and so on. Through all these Kalakshetra trainees and their students spread worldwide, the Kalakshetra legacy continues to live on.